Hi there, Claudia here from Light and Clarity. We're going to talk to the Archangels today regarding what it is you need to know about how to manifest more abundance for yourselves. So the first Archangel will be coming through with their message, and that is Archangel Michael. So just bear with me while I connect for you all. So Michael says, I want you not to be afraid of stepping out and taking a risk. There are about 3 goal points I'm seeing that he says you can actually take a risk on. You've kind of held back. He says you can take a risk on those things. This is what's going to create momentum forward to do with manifesting in those life areas. He says start making a list of what it is you need to do to bring those 3 goals to fruition. Start looking at the resources. Start getting momentum forward and moving. When you get the momentum forward, when you start to get the energy moving in those areas, he says you will see that they will come into alignment on your road more and more because you're accepting those goals in your life. You are accepting that abundance in. You're actually believing that you deserve to have more of what it is that you want. He says this is where the block is, where you do not believe that you can have more of what it is that you want. Some of you have got this limited idea that there needs to be a certain limit on what it is that you can achieve. Well, there is a limit because of upbringing, because of conditioning. He also brings in past life poverty, where some of you have lived lives where there was poverty in past lives. He also comes down family lineage lines as well, ancestry family lineage lines, where ways of thinking were passed down and it was passed into you. He says even if you would say, well, I did hear it from my parents, but I didn't take too much notice. He says there is enough that goes even into the DNA that comes down through the family line that we carry in our DNA from the ancestors, that there's certain ways of thinking that is there. He says some of you are actually afraid of stepping out and taking that risk of stepping out of your comfort zone, even believing that you deserve to have this abundance. He says there is that stands in the way. He says we need you to start opening up your minds with what it is that you can bring into your life, with what it is that you want, and looking at it and saying, you know what, I deserve to have this. I'm open to receive this. And start looking at ways that okay. So he's also saying, I want you to start rewarding yourself. When you start rewarding yourselves, he says, you're bringing in love to yourself, and you start creating those openings in those different areas of your life where you allow and even welcome in more abundance, because what's at the basis of this is what you truly believe about yourself. We need you to start looking at where these blockages are, why they're there, where they've come from, how they were created, and they're sitting down at the bottom of the heart center. He says the way in which you move through and you break through that is that you bring in that sense of love towards the self, that sense of giving towards the self. That's going to open up a lot of abundance. He takes me to the right part of the heart. It's really going to open up that part of the heart where more abundance will come in. You'll be manifesting more and more. He says these blockages we talk about are only small blockages. They're small wounds. He says small blockages. They can be undone. They are opening. You're watching this video because you're already sensing this, he says, and that is why you've been attracted to listening to him speaking. He says that part of the heart will open and that momentum will come forward to do with what it is you want to manifest, to do with manifesting more abundance. All right, thank you. I'm going to move on to the Archangel Gabriel group now. So Archangel Gabriel group, just be with me while I connect for you all. So Gabriel is saying to you, I want you to keep your eye on the prize. I want you to stay in line with your timeline. I want you to continue walking with one foot in one step in front of the other. It is really important you stay grounded and that you walk towards what it is that you are desiring for yourselves. So he says some of you have been disappointed before, and he shows me people letting you down, close loved ones letting you down. and there was a formed belief as a result of that, that life was going to be a particular way. So he showed me there's like a sheet over the way some of you are thinking to do with abundance. You're not aware of that, but it's as though whoever let you down and other people who have been down putting in your life have thrown like a sheet over your emotions, even over you energetically, over the aura. He also says that some of you have also pulled a sheet over yourselves in a way because you were shielding what those people were saying, you were blocking that ear from listening, protecting the self as well. He says, what I want you to do is be unwavering in your own self-belief. This is the way in which you will pull off these sheets, off the ears, off the auric field, including the sheets of those that placed that over you. He says, being unwavering in your own self-belief and being centered. And he shows me that in the coming time, there is one thing each of you are going to go after, and you're going to be uncompromising in it, and you're going to be making quite a detailed, clear plan to walk towards it and to actually attain that. He says that is coming up. So he shows me going into the lower chakras, a real grounded you. He shows me the sacral and the solar plexus growing quite large, especially the solar plexus growing quite large. He says, do some solar plexus work, growing the solar plexus and the sacral chakra. He says, be ungrounding in what you want, be uncompromising. He says, that's going to allow the momentum of more abundance, the type of abundance that you want in your life. And he's showing me there's one particular thing that's really important to you that you're actually going to go for. And even some of you are already deciding, I'm going to go do this regardless, and you're going to give it a go. And he says, that's brilliant. That's what we want. He said, that's going to open up the self-belief in you more, and that's going to allow the more deservingness of abundance in. You're going to allow that in, and that spins that wheel of manifestation, he says. All right. Thank you. I'm going to move on to the Archangel Ariel group. So just bear with me while I connect for you all. So Ariel's reminding me she is the Archangel as well of abundance. She pours her, her bowl of abundance over each of you. She says, those of you who have picked me, I am working with you at present. So she shows me there being small knots in front of the aura. So I want to go to the lower end of the aura, and she says these are to do with small blockages that were placed there that have blocked the flow in of abundance, of manifesting. Some of these knots have been there since childhood. Some of these knots are to do with past lives that you have brought in. She says at the moment, a lot of you have done a lot of work to remove these knots, to untangle these knots. And she shows me that those knots are starting to untangle. She says, please don't allow yourselves to be shaken by others. There are people around you who have or are or do at times knock your self-confidence, knock your own self-belief in the self when it comes to what it is that you want for you. She shows me there's quite a few people around each of you who are quite 3D in their thinking, and forgive me for using this next phrase, because what I'm getting from her, she's not using it, but I'm going to use it, a little bit ignorant, okay, in their understanding of life. They have a really 3D way of looking at things. They can't move past that. They're not that spiritual or even that progressed within themselves on a personal growth level. We'll use that instead of ignorance. Pull that out. Okay, so she's saying, I really need you to listen to you and be unwavering in listening to you. So she shows me there is a stream of abundance coming in under your feet that's going to gain more momentum in the time to come. She says each of you are very, very gentle people, and some of you are quiet people, and reserved people. You don't really show your hand. You're quite sensitive. You're quite empathic. Just seeing if there's anything more she wants to say to you for Ariel group. Hang on. She shows me a gold coin. She says, I want you to place, it's a symbol, she says, the gold coin. She says, I want you to place a symbol of some sort that represents pure abundance to you. And I want you to place it, she says, in front of a mirror or in front of wherever it is that you can see it every day. And allow that symbol, she says, to bring in that feeling of hope, that feeling of trust, and that feeling of joy. So it could be a gold coin, it could be whatever represents abundance to you, some sort of a symbol, a pattern. It could be one of your crystals, she says. I want you to place it in a prominent place where you can look at it and smile and be reminded of the abundance that is already yours, the abundance that is already there. And she takes me to the sacral that's just growing larger here with the energy of abundance. Breathing in through the sacral for me as you take this energy in from Ariel. Oh, I'm going to thank her for coming in. I want to thank Archangel Gabriel, Archangel Michael and Ariel for coming in. Many blessings. Have a happy, beautiful weekend. Thanks, everybody.